Welcome back to the PACT Mantality podcast. This is episode 9 with me, Paul Garrigan, and Women's PACT Mantality, Carly Skelly. Today we have a very special guest. It is former professional footballer, Liverpool player and England international. It is Ricky Lambert. Ricky, how are we, mate?
Good. Nice to be here. Thank you for asking me on.
Thank you for coming on, mate.
It's okay.
Usually start, mate, with a little bit of a check-in, just to see what's been going on the past couple of weeks for you. And then we'll move to Carly and then to me, and then we'll get into it a little bit then, mate, just into obviously your life, really, and where you're at now.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's have a little check-in, mate.
Well, the last weekend has been quite busy. On Friday was my brother-in-law's 40th surprise birthday party. On Saturday was the Formby Festival. On Sunday was my boy's leaving party. So it was a busy 3 days. But in general, over the last few weeks, I'm just on the early stages of beginning my football career in coaching.
Yeah, brilliant.
I'm hopefully starting a role at Wrexham. I think they're just waiting for the final checks. Then I'll be going in to help out with Dan Nolan, the youth team, under 18s, on a volunteering basis. Hopefully if everything goes through.
Brilliant, mate. And you said your lad's leaving party. What was that for?
That was for St. Jerome's School, primary school.
Primary.
So he's 11. That's me middle boy. So I've got 3. He's the middle one. That was all day in the sun like this. It was boiling. But
going up to high school, mate.
He's at Formby High.
Yeah.
So my eldest Carter, he's in Formby High. Mason's going to be joining them.
Can be a little bit sad, can't it? We've got our lads in year 5 now. He's going to year 6 next year, and can be a little bit sad, I think.
It's going too fast.
You know what I mean?
It's going too fast now. Like earlier on, you're wishing time away, aren't you? Can't wait for them to walk. Can't wait. Now it's like slow down
a bit.
Slow down, because I've got a girl as well, Bella, who's 8. She's going into year 5. I'm like, soon they'll all be out of junior school, and it'll be sad, like.
Yeah, what amazing, mate. Next chapter for me.
Yeah.
Plus.
Exactly.
Thank you, mate. And let's have a check in, Carly. What's been happening?
Just really busy again, and it's been nice to have a little bit of sun over the past couple of days and actually switch off from the busyness, to be honest. So just grateful for loads of opportunities that are happening. At the same time, I'm just like, I'm happy to take a few days and step back and enjoy the sun and
relax a little
process it all again.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. For me, checking in, I feel like I've been really, really busy. There's lots been going on with growing PACT, with what we're doing. Been getting in the schools a lot, to be honest. Been in Prescott School as part of the I Am project with Mark Scano, and also obviously we were in All Saints a couple of weeks ago with the Nobody Left Behind, and that was 200 kids were in it, and it was boss, but it was hard.
It was a bit chaotic, to say the least. But no, it was brilliant as well to see all the kids. Yeah,
it was amazing, mate. So I think I feel like sometimes I think I enjoy just because I'm doing what I love to do. Sometimes I can't get enough of it, and I end up burning myself out a little bit sometimes. But but I suppose when you're doing what you love, like, you must know yourself. Obviously, when you're doing your boxing and what you're doing with Women's PACT and you at your footy, it's like you're doing what you love, so you can't get enough of it, can you? Sometimes.
Nothing better, mate.
So I'm full on, mate, and I'm really looking forward to this podcast as well, Ricky.
No, same here.
Looking forward to finding out, taking a bit of dirt, mate. Tell us about Stevie G.
It's getting hotter.
So we usually start the podcast, Ricky, with just going back to your earliest childhood memories, just letting us know about your family life and stuff like that, growing up, what it was like, where you're from, them sort of things, mate.
Yeah. I grew up in Kirkby, West Vale, Stanton Crescent, in my nan's, Nanny Mac. My nan had 11 children. My mum was one of the youngest. We were the last family to live in the house. I moved out to my nan's house when I was about 9. I moved to Whitefield Drive in the Masonette, facing the old Kirkby Sports Centre.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
Right in front of the AstroTurf. So I've always said one of the main reasons I made that football was that decision my mum and dad made of putting us right outside the Kirkby Sports Centre. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
I had a great childhood, and one of the reasons why was because of that move. But yeah, no, went to Millbrook School. Unbelievable time. I absolutely loved it. We had one of the best football teams that you could ever dream of. Danny Coyd was in there. All my mates who have got today were in the football team, and we're from Millbrook School. These are a group of about 10 of us who've gone from primary school, some nursery, all the way up, and we're in business together. We're still good, close friends, but Millbrook especially was a time that I really loved. And then went to Rufwood School. Rufwood, yeah. I didn't enjoy Rufwood so much, I've got to be honest. I enjoyed the last year, but the first 4 years of Rufwood I found tough. Yeah. Found really tough. And hung round mostly Kirkby Sports Centre. Playing football every chance I got, mate, to be honest. Anywhere.
So when did you realise that? How young were you when you realised that? I'm actually a decent kid here.
Yeah, I remember being in my nan's and using a balloon, socks, anything, playing football, and I loved it, getting outside. I think I've kind of realised I was decent at it when my dad put me in the first football team. I think I was 8. And I knew I was like pretty decent compared to the kids who were in there. Nothing special, but pretty decent. And then as I got more established, I was scoring probably the most goals. I was the more consistent. And then it didn't matter whether I was crap or good, to be honest, mate. I just loved playing football. And that was the beginning of my football career. But
and who was you playing with, mate? Was you playing with when Kirkby stadium and stuff like that? Was you always playing with older kids and stuff, or was you just? Yeah, so
all my friends love football. So when they were there, playing with them, but when they weren't there, I was just playing by myself, hanging around the fellas to see if they needed an extra player. Yeah, and every now and again they would invite me on, and I would sometimes do well for them, and they'll invite me back the next week. So I would know slots then of I'm playing with this team on the Monday, I'm playing on this team at this time on a Tuesday. So if I do well for the fellas, if they're struggling, if they've got full numbers, then they wouldn't shout me over. Yeah. But if they were struggling for numbers, then they'll go, "Oh, there's that lad there, Ricky, come over." Yeah.
You'd always be there, having round to get a game.
Yeah.
And you started at 8 as well, because obviously we know, don't we, with our two lads, they're in academies now at 3 and 4 years of age, you know what I mean? They got them in, haven't they?
Yeah, it's very different. When you were playing, probably it was a little bit you got to be a kid. Like you were saying then, you're out all the time playing with your mates and in your teams and stuff. And like you say, you're seeing them at free. It's the babies, come on.
I know.
Yeah,
that is very different to what I was used to growing up. Very different. And these are a lot of things about the academies that are questioned, but I mean,
some of it's great though, in general, you know what I mean?
Mate, in general,
it's amazing, isn't it?
In general, the amount of good quality coaches in there who are teaching the right stuff at the right time, where probably out benefits the negatives, which in my eyes probably would be maybe it stops you from playing with a certain group of your friends from school or the teams that you grew up in. That they're the negatives in my eyes. Probably put a little bit too much pressure on you, but in general, the benefits far outweigh the negatives.
I find a lot of pressure, mate, comes from parents at the same time because of expectation and stuff. You know, I remember going home and my lad had been asked for a trial at Liverpool. He was 5. You know what I mean? And you think you're looking at him, kissing him and going to bed at night thinking he's the next Stevie G. He's 5. You know what I mean? He still believes in whatever he believes in, and you sort of you sort of get carried away with yourself. I think parents have got to manage it a bit better at the same time. You know what I mean? The expectation of what is actually how hard it is to make it.
Yeah.
That's how I was thinking. Then like you look at where you're up, they're off the streets and they're doing stuff. So there's a lot of pros in the academy system. The kids are off the street, they're doing something well. 9 times out of 10, that pressure comes from the parents.
Yeah.
What was that like with your parents, mate? Did you ever have like much input off your parents when you were playing?
God,
or was it sort of like they left you to it?
No, they left me to it, but they massively pushed me into it as well, and was there. They never drove, but they were there at every training session. They made sure I got to it, anything that I needed to go. And when I joined Liverpool at 10, 11, they were obviously, like most parents, over the moon. But no, I never felt pressure from my mum and dad. If I had a bad performance, they would tell me.
Yeah.
But never felt pressured like you don't understand what it means and stuff like. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they would tell me you've shit today.
Yeah.
Like you need to book up your ideas there. And I was, like I said, I loved being at Liverpool Academy. I was at Liverpool Academy from 10 to 15, so 5 years. Loved the majority of it. When I obviously struggling the last year or so, when I went through the change, like hormones and everyone catching up to me. At 11, 12, I was way ahead of everyone, way ahead. At 13, 14, 15, I struggled. Everyone caught up. I lost my pace. I lost my strength. Everyone caught up and I kind of struggled for a few years. And it lasted a good few years, got let go by Liverpool. And that's when I went to Blackpool then.
Okay, so let's definitely going to get into that, mate. How that was for you. But let's take it back to like Rufwood.
Yeah.
Like what that was like. I remember going to Rufwood school. We played them a couple of times in the cup games, mate. It was like a rough school.
Yeah.
You knew you were in for a tough game, mate, when you went up there. But you said earlier that was quite tough for you, mate. So can you tell us a little bit about what high school was like for you and why was it?
It just blew me away. I was used to Millbrook, a nice small school, and I kind of like took me years to kind of feel comfortable, and I was well respected and stuff like that. And then went to the big school, and I was just like blown away how big it was, and all the other kids from all the other schools, and how confident they were. And I kind of just went into my shell. Where I think most of my friends, they kind of like blossomed and was able to handle themselves a lot better than me. I kind of went into my shell, and I probably stayed in my shell for, like I said, till I was about 15, 14. Yeah, and football, still loved football. Football was like what I enjoyed the most about Rufwood, and I still, again, close to my friends. But I just struggled. Academically, I was terrible. I struggled with dyslexia from primary school, and that followed on. In primary school, I was getting help, but I didn't really notice it, to be honest. It didn't really affect me. In Rufwood, I was really struggling. Like in the lessons, didn't have a clue. I could never write down fast enough. Nothing was going in. So I kind of just retreated in myself.
Was that because of the way the school was in the way of academically? Did that make you go inside, Rick? Or do you think it was that and a mixture of like being around highly confident people, and it's very loud and in your face, isn't it? When you come from such a nice school, if you like, and you've just been put into this big school where everyone's like massive and in your face sort of thing. Yeah, it was. You've got to sort of find your feet quick, haven't you?
Yeah, it was a bit of both. Bit of both. Yeah, it was. Yeah, my confidence just got wiped out. Yeah, and I am like it. Yeah, it was just. I was scared to like speak up and say like what I probably did need help academically. And I did get him, like Mr. Williams, one of the teachers who was my tutor, who did kind of like take time to improve that side, and he massively did. But it was just my persona, which kind of took a while to get used to it.
Yeah.
Did it ever affect your football at all, or was that kind of like your way where you could be yourself, where you actually come out of your shell?
Yeah, like I said, football.
Like a bit of escape to everything that was going on.
Loved school football, yeah. But this is where kind of didn't like the academy because they took me away from the school football. And I was at that time, I was enjoying the school football more than the academy football because I was playing at the academy. I was this is when I was starting to struggle. But school football, obviously I was still really, really enjoying it. So they took me away from that. So that was a little bit frustrating. But yeah, no, football side was completely fine all the way up in school. It was like, obviously the higher went around about 13, 14. That's when I started to struggle.
Okay. And what was life like, sort of? So you've been to school, you're going to footy, your life outside of football and outside of school. What was you doing with yourself between them ages of like 10 to 15, if you like? Was you getting out there on the street? Was you very family based, or?
I was just playing football.
Was you?
Yeah, I was still playing football. And then when my friends started to meet girls and when girls started to come into it, I was still playing football. I didn't get involved with girls at all, to be honest. I had no interest in girls. I was just focused on football. And it wasn't so much like I've got to be focused in football if I want to make it as a footballer. Literally, I had no interest in girls. It was all football. And my friends were getting a little, the group who would play football was getting less and less, and they were more going to meet girls and going to park and doing this, where I was probably still going to the AstroTurf and playing football with the fellas and stuff like that.
So you never felt that pull to like we know, like between when kids are getting to 14, 15, 16, if you like, obviously our lad's 15 now, and we know that peer pressure or that pull can come to sort of want to maybe go and venture into finding other things, you know what I mean, and getting involved in maybe, obviously, a lot of the kids
that did come, but like round 13, 14, 15, not so much, 16, and onwards, then that's when I started to getting more into girls and like start drinking with my mates and in the park and stuff like that. But I would still be mostly focused on the football.
So how old were you then when you got released from Liverpool?
15.
You were 15?
Yeah.
And how was that for you?
Devastating.
Yeah.
Devastating. Like the end of the world, devastating. Like nothing will ever be worse than that. That's the way I thought at the time. And I was crying in the room. I was struggling for some time, like I said. I was struggling for some time. And I kind of expected it. And then Steve Highway pulled me in and just said, I don't think you're going to make it at this level. We wish you all the best. Like I said, it wasn't a surprise. I went home and I was like bawling my eyes out in the bedroom, crying my eyes out. Absolutely devastated. My dad came up and put his arm around me and just said, see this letter, you've got to prove these wrong now. It's up to you to prove these wrong. And I don't know whether I think he knew what he was doing, but I kind of took that through the rest of my career then. I will prove you. I will go on and I'll show you I will get to this level. And it took me a long time, like, but you
got there.
You got there, didn't you?
I got there in the end.
Perseverance, mate, and dedication. And I mean, was there anything leading up to that point, mate? Obviously, you said you were struggling. Like, was there anything you could have done more? Yeah. Like, what was you lacking? Because, you know, probably a lot of parents watch this, mate, with a lot of young lads, and I feel like sometimes if they were given that information, then their kids too could maybe, you know, step up.
Yeah. There was a game I played because of what I was sought after striker, sought after 12, 11, 10, 11, 12. I was the most sought after striker in Liverpool. Like 13, 14, the pace kind of went and I got put to right mid and other people. So you play less games. So I kind of, instead of focusing more on what the coaches were telling me, I kind of went, you're wrong. I'm going to go and play with my mates on the street and I'm going to go and play school football, even though that you're telling me not to. I'm going to play with Chevo. And I got a knock. And again, instead of just resting up and making sure that I was ready for Liverpool, I went and played with my mates with a sore ankle. Even though that I was struggling getting into the team. And then inevitably he pulled me in and just said, I know that you're not exactly right with your ankle, but we're going to have to let you go. I don't think there's the place in you. So I do look back on that thinking, I should have done that. I should have given everything. I should have been a lot more professional. But not, my parents didn't really install the professionalism side in me. I didn't really know like the best way to eat or to drink, and fitness wise, I wasn't one of the current academy players where they all know what fitness is and stuff like that. I was a street player.
It wasn't as much like that then, maybe, though, was it? Like as focused as it is now?
No,
like,
it wasn't.
It's got to tick so many boxes now, haven't you?
Yeah, but even back then, mate, the fitter ones were progressing
the ones
faster.
progressing,
yeah, way faster. Even though I was technically better than some of these, most of them, my fitness was just letting me down. And I think it was Kevin Keegan who said, "Don't underestimate how important fitness is, especially in football." And for someone who struggled with his fitness and professionalism until he was 27, I cannot back that statement up anymore. It is fundamental in getting the maximum potential out of yourself. Without it, you're going to be kidding yourself. And I was kidding myself till I was 27.
Yeah, it's really important, isn't it? We say it all the time. You can have all the technical ability in anything in the world, but your fitness is so important.
Yeah.
And attitude.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Some people maybe think, I've got the technical ability, so I can take my foot off the gas a little bit here because I've got that. I'm better than everyone else. And sometimes maybe become complacent in ways.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happened to me. And then just like that, the kids who you were taking the mickey out of are now getting the ball off you, nudging you off the ball. And now it's like it's a whole different ball game. And now you don't know how to get back to the place where you was. So like I said, it took me a good kick up the backside, a lot of years playing in the lower leagues when I should have been right up there, right up there from early on. So I look back and I'm very pleased with my career, but I've still definitely got a few regrets, and that's probably the biggest one.
Was there any players at the time when you were in the academy that have made it?
Yeah, Steve Warnock came through, and I was like, this kid again, where I got to fit. It's like kids go like this, don't they, with like the way they grow and stuff like that. And I 10, 11, I was bigger, stronger than everyone else, faster. And then Steve Warnock came, mate, and he was like a man at the age of 14, 15. He was ridiculous. He could sprint. He was like a bit like fucking and his shots, he could kick it like a professional footballer, even at 14. He was unbelievable. He's by far head and shoulders. We had another kid, Ian Armstrong, who was the golden child at the time. I think Steve Highway was expecting a lot of things from Ian Armstrong, and he was a top player. He was like, these two were playing for England all the time. And Ian went on to have a professional career, but I think he was unlucky with injuries. So the team kind of started to get focused around these two extremely talented, and there was a few others. Kev Nolan was another one who got let go just before me, who went on to have an unbelievable career. Yeah, but it was these, especially Steve Warnock, the difference between me and him at that point was like night and day. It was incredible.
Massive difference. Yeah. Okay, so you sort of been released from Liverpool, 15, 16. What next? Started happening in your life? What was your life like? Your personal life, your professional life? What was going on in your mind?
Yeah, so 15, didn't know what to do. But what was lucky is that my friend Danny Coyd, who I joined Liverpool with, who was from Millbrook, from Kirkby, was my best friend. It's quite weird, actually, how close we was, and that we were in the same school and best friends. He got let go just before me at Liverpool, and then went straight to Blackpool with my other friend Darren Connell. So when I got let go, I was like, get me up to Blackpool. It was inevitable. So a week or two later, I was having trials at Blackpool. And it was, I think I don't think I got a contact. I was basically on trials for about 8 months leading up to YTS, which is at 16. And then it was, are you gonna get a YTS, which lasted 2 years. So I was at Blackpool again, struggling, not like setting the world alight. Danny and Darren easily got the YTSs, which they knew they were gonna get. I scraped mine, literally just scraped it by the skin of my teeth. And so that took me up until I was 16.
When you're saying that you were struggling, what was it that you were struggling with? Was it what you were doing outside of football? Was it the confidence maybe not being released from the pool? What was the struggle? Maybe?
Fitness. It was massive. It was fitness. I was so far behind of everyone else, and the things I wanted to do on the pitch, I just couldn't do no more. The kids who I was playing against were fitter, stronger than me. Again, even though technically I was better than these kids, I just couldn't get past them. People bigger than me as well, so where I'd be a lot taller than some of them. Around about that time, I wasn't. I was small and thinner as well, so I was just struggling physically, mostly. Like I said, I still didn't have the professional side in me, so I wasn't going home and doing run like Darren Connell, Danny were doing like a few mile runs. I was just going home, sat on the couch with my mum, watching EastEnders. No, she hated EastEnders. it was Coronation Street, which I hated. Or playing on my computer, or just playing in the street, or playing on the AstroTurf. So playing on the AstroTurf was the only fitness I was getting. But most of the time I was just shooting at the cage, unless I was playing with one of the
other people.
Fellas, where these were starting to get their professionalism in their system and doing the mile runs, and so they were already getting steps ahead of me.
Okay, so from 16 to say like 20, like what happened? Like where obviously you've been to a couple of, like you were at Blackpool, weren't you? And then you've been to quite a few clubs in your career, haven't you? You've worked your way up, sort of thing. But what's going on personally as well at the same time? So not just what you're doing working at the football. How's your mindset at that point? Obviously, you've been released and stuff like that, and then the Blackpool, you're getting in by the skin of your teeth. Like, what's going on for you mentally at that point and in your life?
I think around about 14, 15, I started, my dad used to take me to the pub to play pool, and I would have a shandy, or he'd give me a shandy, and I was like, give us a pint, Dad. And he was like, no, piss off, you're not having a pint. So I got a taste for alcohol quite early. Quite early. So when I was 16, 17, we would go out as often as we could, and I would drink as much as I could. I loved it. So yeah, a lot of drinking, a lot of drinking, going out and getting absolutely bladdered. And that went right through my career. To be honest, most of my career I was like that. I would go and play, and I would always drink afterwards.
Always have a good drink.
Yeah. So, Blackpool out all the time, and then went to got let go by Blackpool.
How old are you at this point then? 18?
So I'd done my YTS 16 to 18. Then I got a month to month. Again, just scraped a pro. Got let go after 6 months by Steve McMahon. Again, physical. You can't do what I want you to do. Physical. Same. Penny still doesn't drop. Still doesn't drop. Go to Macclesfield. Again, because Darren Connell, who got let go by Blackpool, went to Macclesfield. So there was another outlet that I could go to that I could try and get at Macclesfield. So I was at Macclesfield then till I was about 19, 20, no, about 20, 21. And yeah, the manager really liked me. I really liked me. He put me in the first team, and I'd done really well. And I got sold for £300,000, which was a hell of a lot of money back then, to Stockport County. And so I was about 21 at this point. That's where the pressure came back. That's where I didn't enjoy it, because now you're going from League 2 to League 1 for £300,000 at 21. He was expecting big things. and it was under Carlton Palmer, and I didn't quite gel at Stockport. The team, the lads, brilliant, like all young, 23, 24, so we all around the same age, all liked to drink, so they used to go out and they used to like a drink, which I loved.
Yeah.
More excuse that I could go out and get smashed.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got let go. Stayed at Stockport for 2.5 years. The first year was a nightmare. Second year was pretty good. Third year was an absolute, it was a nightmare. Absolute nightmare. We was at the bottom of the league. We were getting booed. I was getting booed the most.
Yeah.
They hated me. I think it was because I was the main player the year before, and they kind of played the team around me, and it just didn't work. So I kind of went under then, massively when I couldn't handle it.
How does that impact you? The pressures of the fans when they're quite
horrible.
Yeah, aggressive.
Horrible.
How did you cope with that?
Yeah, they were coming for me afterwards, isn't that? Before I was going
after the match and coming after you, yeah.
Yeah, telling me to get off the club.
Aggressively and violently coming after you.
Yeah.
So mentally going home, does that really impact?
Yeah, I didn't want to go back. Didn't want to go back, but I was under contract, and especially didn't want to play. But the manager thought class is permanent, form is temporary. It'll come back, which it didn't. Yeah. I kind of cost him his job, probably, that he kept on playing me, because like I said, I went under. I couldn't handle the pressure of 7,000 fans booing me every time I got the ball. Literally couldn't handle it, so I went under. The manager got sacked, and then literally I had no interest then. I didn't really care what happened. I ended up getting shipped out to Rochdale for £20,000. This is after getting bought for £300,000. So they literally just wanted me out. And it was at Rochdale where the love and the appreciation of just being a footballer came back. Yeah. Where by this time I wasn't that interested of being a footballer. Yeah. And I love football. I love football more than anyone that you'll ever know. So for me to get to that point, it was bad. It was very bad, yeah.
That's just sort of shows, mate, how good he was, while also shows the effects of pressure, mate. Yeah. That sometimes go unnoticed in football. That we only get to see the man on the pitch, but we don't get to see their private life. And I mean, we all think footballers they've got the life, they're loaded, but they've actually got a lot going on. And there is a lot of weight on your shoulders, mate, isn't it? Even 7,000 people booing you, mate, and then having a go at you violently and being aggressive, and then whatever else they were doing, you know what I mean? That's got to have an effect on you mentally and emotionally. Must have been quite tough for you, mate. It was.
It was in front of me. The booing was sometimes in front of me mum and dad as well. So my dad was getting into arguments with some of the fans in the stands. So that was it was stressful to say the least. So like I said, I just couldn't wait to get out of there. Could not wait to get out of there.
So you've gone back to Rochdale and you started enjoying your footy.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say this, mate, because it's just come to me sort of. In terms of pressure, my lad's been at academies all his life, in and out, and he's been to Liverpool, he's been to Crewe, and then he went back to play for Kirkby. And at that point, basically I said, we all just agreed that I would take a step back from him and just allow him to be.
Yes.
And he's now playing for Everton.
Yeah.
And he's doing great. And I don't go and watch him. I'll drop him off, but I don't watch him. And when I'm there, he knows I'm there. And that affects his game. It's because it's I've probably put something on him in terms of pressure. He feels my presence in the game.
Yeah.
And I'm there and he feels that pressure and expectation to live up to me.
Yeah.
By the way, we just about got in the school team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, could only kick the ball half decent with my left foot, mate. No right foot. Never played at any type of standard, if you like. But that has allowed him, through me just seeing it's his dream, just be there as his dad, mate, not as his coach.
Well done. Well done for you for acknowledging that.
Yeah.
Most parents, like the parents who you was talking about before, they don't acknowledge that. They don't see it. And then if the kids or anyone brings it up, behave. behave. I'm just pushing you. No, you're not. You're stifling them.
Yeah.
So well done for you for acknowledging it and taking a step back.
Yeah.
Because that's exactly what I done to Carter. I put him in a team when he was 7, 8. Didn't want to be there. Didn't like football. And I was pushing. And then I realised, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
What am I doing? I'm doing the exact same thing. I hate what some parents do to their kids. So I just pulled back. And he came out of football, and I said, I'm just going to wait until he says, can I join a team? And he did. At 11, he went, I want to play football again. And I put him in a football team, and he's loved it.
Yeah.
Loved it ever since. So, no, well done for you.
Yeah. Just let them be, mate, innit?
Yeah.
Like, let them be.
Yeah.
You know, my other lad, he's 10 now, but like, he's been to loads of grassroots teams, but he'll change and chop and say who he wants to go to. And I'm like, go where you want. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
go and play with whoever you want to play with.
Yeah, go and play with whoever you want to play with. And I'll make sure that you try tennis. I'll make sure that you try golf. Yeah. I'll make sure you try all these different sports, and then whatever you want to do,
go and do.
Go and do it. Go and do it, and I'll try and make sure that I can get you there, and I'll support you. And that's I would recommend that. Well, that's what you have to be. That's what you have to be as a parent.
Well, that's it. Even like any elite athlete, it's so much high pressure anyway. Yep. So you don't need the extra pressures.
Yeah.
So like
of your dad who's never played.
Both of us being, to be fair, I'm probably a bit softer being like a mum. But even me, because I'm like in sport, I'm quite competitive. So I was probably hard on Aidan, more so than other mums. Yeah. And then when I started boxing, and I think you maybe like be shouting at me, and I'd be like, oh my God, I feel awful. I can't believe I've ever made my son feel like this at times. So I completely took a step back, and I say nothing to them now. I support them. I give them the advice if they want it. And I say, do you want me honest advice, or do you want me to soften it? So I ask them what they want, and I give them what they want. But
I still tell Carter how it is. If it was crap, I tell him that was crap today, mate. Should have done this, should have done that. But that's it.
It's over then.
Let's go and play some footy in the back, or do you know what I mean?
Yeah, forget it.
Rather than holding a grudge for a week, you.
Yeah.
You hold a grudge.
Remember what you've done last week in that game.
Yeah, I think Mason, my other boy, like he says, like, I want to be a footballer like you. And I'm like, mate, it's fine if you want to do something else. I'm not bothered. I just, as long as you're happy, mate, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
I don't want you to be a footballer. I would love you to be a footballer, but I would love you to be anything else as long as you enjoy it.
Yeah, and you'll be there to support them, mate, like your dad's, because I feel you lose that. I certainly lost that relationship. You lose that relationship with your kids, you know what I mean, of like being a dad, because it just becomes football. Yeah. Because he's at football 5 times a week, and you're putting that pressure on him to perform, and it became about that, the relationship me and him had. It sort of like made it quite hard, didn't it? But yeah, I'm amazed what you mentioned that, mate, just about obviously, the pressure that you felt and how that affected you when you went back to Rochdale, that you started then finding, obviously you took the pressure off yourself, and you were just playing football. Yeah.
And if your kids, if your boys ever do feel, do you know what, dads don't want to do it no more, just let them come out. Yeah. Just let them come out, and don't push them to go back in, because eventually they'll go, Dad, can I get a team? I want to play football again. And then when they go back, they're mentally ready then. Yeah. Mentally ready, and they'll enjoy it. And they'll progress even more than themselves.
Brilliant, mate.
But I'm not, I don't want to go too far the other way and completely don't say not, and don't push them whatsoever.
Yeah. They need guidance, don't they?
Yeah. They need guidance. They need telling at the right time. But that's why they've got coaches, and that's why they've got the managers of teams to give them the pointers of what they want.
Well, it's perfect. What you've just said is that's why they've got coaches. So, maybe everyone on the sideline, let the coaches coach them, because we're not coaches. So why coach somebody? It's something that you've never been at that level in yourself.
Yeah. No, totally agree.
So Rochdale, getting your love back for the game.
Yeah.
Or you're going and you're not bothered anymore. You're just being a footballer. You got sold for 20 grand. You're starting to enjoy it a bit again now, yeah?
No pressure on me whatsoever. No pressure. Steve Parker was the manager. He said, I just want goals from you. So, being a kid who grew up as a striker, by this time, at Stockport, I was a midfielder. He said, I want goals from you. So, I was straight through, I was like, brilliant. Don't have to have the responsibility of defending. I hated defending. So loved playing the games, loved playing my personal life at this point. I was probably going out the most. Like I said, I especially didn't have the dedication at this time, and especially didn't have the professionalism. But I was enjoying football. Like I said, there was no pressure on me. And at this time, I had no aspirations to get to the Premier League. Them aspirations were far gone. With that experience at Stockport, any aspiration to get to the Championship was gone, let alone the Premier League. I was like, this was League Two, and I was barely, like, I wasn't setting waves in League Two. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was just enjoying playing football. I was enjoying the no pressure.
So what's happened then, mate? From you've gone and you're starting to enjoy your footy again with Rochdale, you're in League Two, and you're going out and having a good time. You're enjoying yourself in what you're doing. Then obviously, who did you go to after Rochdale? Was it
Bristol Rovers?
Went to Bristol. So how did that come about?
So Rochdale, overweight, unprofessional, but my natural ability still got me the golden boot. So I scored 23 goals that year.
Yeah,
and I was leading goal scorer. So Bristol Rovers came in for me, but it was the last day of the transfer window. I was about their fourth or fifth choice who they wanted, so not really bothered about me. But they missed out on all the signings, so at the last second they tried me. And the negotiations where I was trying with Rochdale had broken down, so it was, I was just like, go on then, give us this and I'll come. But in my head, I'm thinking, I need to get away from Liverpool. I need to get away from Liverpool. I think this getting away and focusing on football again will do me good. So I kind of jumped at it. And didn't have a clue anything about Bristol. Didn't even know where it was on the map. And I said, 3 years of your life in a few hours. Because it was transfer deadline. So you had to decide there and then, yes or no.
Yeah.
So I said yes. Drove down there, signed. All the signature got done just before deadline day. Bang, Bristol player.
Amazing, mate. So did they pay for you? How much was it?
I think that was around about £200,000 or £250,000, something like that.
And obviously, what was you thinking then? Because again, it's a big price tag on you, isn't
but
it?
I didn't feel the pressure like I did at Stockport. I didn't. Like it.
What had changed then?
My mentality. Okay. Once you get burnt, mate, the next time you get burnt, it's not as strong, is it?
Yeah.
What's the Rod Stewart song? First cut is the deepest.
Yeah.
That's true though, isn't it? Yeah. It's true. And so I was mentally in a stronger place as well because of the experiences I had. But I went there unfit. Like I said, the professionalism side was horrific. So I was a little bit nervous in that aspect because at Rochdale, they were allowing me to get away with it.
Yeah.
I knew Bristol wouldn't. The size of it. Bristol's a big town, big city. Yeah. And Bristol Rovers is a big club. And I knew they were getting like 8, 9, 10,000 fans every week. And so I hit the ground. I didn't hit the ground. I fell. I stumbled onto the ground. Yeah. It was a terrible start, and the fans stayed with me, to be fair to them. And it took me a good few months to slowly get my fitness a little bit better. With Paul Trollope, the manager. Yeah. And then I scored a goal, probably one of the most important goals I've ever scored in my career. Bristol Rovers played Bristol City in the Johnson's Paint area final. And I can't tell you how big that game is in Bristol. Yeah. They hate each other. I scored the winner. We won 1-0. So I scored the winner. From that moment, bang, I'm a hero. Yeah. And no matter what I did for the rest of my career, I was always going to be a hero at Bristol. So my confidence then just shot through the roof because all the fans now were singing my name. And then from that moment, I didn't look back.
Yeah.
Didn't look back, yeah. Yeah.
That's amazing, mate. Amazing story. And that just goes to show confidence, doesn't it? And
Yeah.
belief. When you get a bit of self-belief and you've been burnt a little bit,
Yeah.
that drives you on even further, doesn't
Yeah.
it, mate? So from Bristol, mate, how long was you there for?
3 years, scored many goals. That's when my ruthlessness in wanting to be the leading goal scorer, like the main man, the best player in the league, especially League Two, and then moving up to League One, I wanted to be the best player. That's when that confidence and competitiveness and ruthlessness really started to come. But the professional side wasn't there.
So I was going to ask
The
that
fitness side still wasn't there. It was better. It was way better than Rochdale. But I knew it wasn't even at League One standard. But my natural ability was getting me through, and I was leading goal scorer.
Yeah, I think that's it's amazing, mate. Really, that's like
well, it's frustrating when I look back.
Frustrating, but I am a believer, mate, as well, is that everything's meant to be as it is. Like things happen in a certain way for you to get to where you get to in life, for you to learn them lessons. You know what I mean? And every time we have something bad happen, it's a lesson that we can take something from and learn from to grow. Which it seems that you did. Started, and it might have took a bit of time to be slapped across the face a couple of times.
I totally agree, and I'll go a step further and I probably overachieved in my career now, and it was because if I would have been professional and I wouldn't have built up that desire and hunger to when I finally got to the Premier League to have done so well. I might have got to the Premier League a lot earlier, but I don't think I would have had the impact. I might never have got to England. Does that make sense? I think all proving people wrong and building up slowly, it gave me like the desire that when I finally got there, I was able to have them couple of seasons in the Premier League. Because I don't think with me, I was never like one of the top players like Steve G. I was never going to get that, no matter how much fitness or stuff I'd done, Joe. So it was the little difference of the desire that I had installed me from all the experiences going through the leagues, that when I got there, I was able to have that impact on the Premier League. And I don't think I would have had that kind of impact if I didn't have them experiences.
And that's what I loved when I actually read a little bit about your history today, like to see where you've been and what you've done. I loved reading that you ended up getting released from Liverpool, but then you ended up getting back at Liverpool. Years later, after being up and down the leagues and stuff. To me, that's like a really great story in itself, is that you never give up and you kept it. You might have took a few lessons along the way and ignored a few of them till a little bit later on, but that burning desire is what you had. Even sometimes it might have been clouded through going out and having a drink and stuff, so it was a little bit fuzzy, but it was still there and it was screaming and it didn't shut up until it got what it wanted and you ended up back there. So
to me as well, Ricky, like when you have a place of belonging, as soon as you went to Bristol and you felt accepted and you felt loved and you felt like they adored you, having that place of belonging, you could go and just achieve what you wanted to achieve. And you could actually perform to your full potential. Which meant you're leaving. Which is great for you, you know what I mean? Probably not so great for them at the time.
No.
So where did that mean then? Because you were starting to reach your potential, if you like, where did you go to next?
So again, Southampton came in for me, Alan Pardew.
That's a big club, mate. That's a big club.
They were just hitting the depths of despair. They'd just been relegated. They was in administration.
Had they moved from the Dell at that point to
that was a few years early. So that was about 10 years earlier. So a new ownership, Mark Lima and Nicola Cortese took over. Stole the club. I don't know how we got it for so cheap, £15 million, I think it was. When you look at it, it's like ridiculous. Ridiculous. But he wanted to invest straight away. I was their first signing, £1 million signing. I was 27 at this point. So it was, it almost didn't go through. I was desperate for it to go through, even though I loved Bristol Rovers, loved the fans. I knew this was my moment. I knew I was ready for it. Even though that they were I was expecting a Championship club. Southampton got relegated from the Championship into League One. So I was a bit frustrated that no Championship clubs had come in for me. I was desperate to prove all them wrong whenever I did get to the Championship. So it was Southampton who came in for me. I signed, doing well. Like I said, still overweight, 16 stone I was. 16 stone, still overweight, scoring. But I knew I was the best player in League One. Knew I was by some distance. So started off good. This time scoring. Then Pardew pulled me in after about a month. And he said, sit down. I sat down. He went, do us a favour, lift up your top. I went, what? What do you mean? He went, lift up your top. So I lifted it up. And he just went, that's a disgrace, that. I went, what? He went, your belly. You've got a belly in your professional football. That's a disgrace. I've been watching you around the gaff and around the city, and you're a disgrace the way you live your personal life. That might have been good enough for Bristol Rovers and Rochdale, but that's not good enough for Southampton. So at first I was a little bit took back and offended by it. I just went, right, okay. And he went, so what I want you to do tomorrow, when you're in the gym at 8 o'clock, when you're starting, I want you to fat burn, and then I want you to train with the rest of the team, and then I want you to train afterwards. I want that gone as quick as possible. You're my number one signing. Spent £1 million on you, and you're treating me like that. So I was like, wow! It just completely blew my mind. Yeah. So I went out the room. My head was everywhere. And I could have went two ways. What was you thinking?
No walkabouts.
I could have went two ways. I could have went, fuck you.
Yeah.
Nah, whatever. Yeah. I'm leading goal scorer every season. Don't need to listen to you. I'll carry on. Thankfully, 27, the nail finally dropped. Yeah. I went, right, okay. I'm going to take on board what he's saying. I got the fitness coach, Nick Harvey, another inspirational person in my life who helped me push me to, helped me get everything that I wanted. He was the beginning. Got me in the gym, 8 o'clock, fat burner, boxing, everything. It was a hard session. I have breakfast with the lads when they got in about 9 and then train and then maybe do an extra. So I've done that for 6 weeks. I was absolutely knackered. In the games, I was terrible. And then after 6 weeks, I just felt it. I was starting to run past people. I was starting to, so I was a step below in fitness, maybe 2 steps below. Now I was on level with them, but add on my ability, what was already way ahead of these players. Now I'm just as fit as these players. It was like a drug to me. The gym work and the fitness work became a drug. I couldn't get enough of it because I started to feel the benefits mentally, physically. Like I said, I just couldn't get enough of it. So I went from unprofessional to a machine, absolute machine, in about eight weeks. And the difference in my play was night and day, because I wasn't just a goal scorer no more. I was a complete player. Yeah. And I think I scored 38 goals that season. And it was, like I said, the start of my second career then.
Yeah, and you were in League One.
League One.
At that point, mate, yeah. So then from there, Southampton get promoted, did they, pretty quickly?
We was in administration, so we was on -15. We missed out by 1 point on the playoffs, so we had to do another season in League One, which was devastating. But we got promoted the second season. But because we didn't get promoted the first season, we kind of created a bond. And then when we got promoted from League One, we got promoted straight away to the Premier League, because that had already, like the tactics, the shape, everything had already been forged. Do you know what I mean?
How was that step up? Like, obviously, had you played in the Championship before
never.
that? So you'd stepped up from League One, Championship. Was that a big jump? Did you feel, or was you like, I'm all right at this level, actually, I'm good.
Like I said before, I knew what some of the managers had said about me when I was at Bristol Rovers, because my agent told me.
Yeah.
And he said, I'm not telling you. I went, fucking tell me what they said about me. And he just said, Ricky Lambert, nah, not good enough. So I was playing against these managers who said these things about me.
Fire in your belly.
Yeah. More, yeah. So I absolutely smashed the league apart. Got best player, leading goal scorer, leading assists. But by this time, I was at the peak of my physical attributes. I'd introduced yoga that year, which got recommended by Matt Ratcliffe at Southampton. Introduced me to a girl called Sarah Ramsdale, I think her second name is, from Chester. And yeah, I couldn't, that again, just took my...
Took it on another level.
On another level again. I would do a session, like 15, 20 minute session before every session. So I'd do the gym, I would do the yoga, core, gym, and then train. And that was my routine every morning.
Did you have to train then, Ricky? Did you have to train more than everyone else always? Because to keep the weight off?
Yeah.
So what was your life like at that point when you were stepping up the league with Southampton? If you like, what was your life like outside of the football?
Yeah, obviously better.
Yeah.
Still drinking, but way less.
Yeah.
Less. But to be honest, was still drinking. Only under Mauricio, when Mauricio came to Southampton, because of his training regime. So under Pardew and Nigel Atkins, whenever I played, I would go out and drink, or I would stay at home and drink, because I found it a release to bring me down. Because I was just, my head was still just all over the place. All over the place, So I would drink alcohol to bring me down, or I would go and relax. It was only under Mauricio, so and at Liverpool that I completely almost cut out alcohol.
Yeah.
So under Mauricio's training regime was that hard, and if I drunk it, I knew if I drank, I wouldn't be able to make the team. So I cut out drink. Yeah, I cut out drink completely.
Yeah. So you got in the Premier League with Southampton.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've stepped up to that level. Again, that's another jump.
Yeah.
Did you feel at home at that level? Did you feel a sense of belonging at Southampton with the fans? Was you getting that sort of put on this pedestal a little bit? And was the love there? Was the confidence there? Was everything in flow for you?
Yeah, massively. Yeah. So the boost I got from Bristol Rovers, the fans, it was just tenfold at Southampton. Like they had a song for me. They just took me straight away. Just took me straight away, and it made me feel 10 foot tall. Every time I walked onto the pitch, I just felt unstoppable. And when going up the leagues and then getting to the Premier League, just meant so much to me. Just meant so much that we'd gone from. I met them at the right time in my career, but they met me as well. They needed someone like me, and I knew that, and the fans knew that. So me knowing that the fans appreciated that, just like I said, just made me drive on even more.
Yeah, give you that self-belief. And then you were taking action, scoring goals, and you just, when you're in that place, mate, everything just sort of happens, doesn't it? Because you're doing it. Yeah. You're in the moment, mate, every day, and you're just loving life at that point, aren't you, mate?
The best way I can describe it was I was on a crest of a wave at this moment when I was in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Everything, all my preparation was already done. So everything a touch was just turned to gold. Yeah. Everything.
It's amazing, mate.
Everything. So then I scored 15 the first season and got into the England team. England call-up.
And what was that like?
Again, like it's
amazing,
like,
wow.
Yeah. It was like, wow, this is amazing.
Considering like how many years before you were in League 2, League 1, and then you've worked your way up. That must be like,
it was incredible, mate, and it's hard to explain. But I was ready for it. Yeah. That's the most important thing. I was mentally ready for it. Yeah. I'm most importantly physically ready for it. So when it came, I knew I was gonna smash that as well. Ball came over, bang, first touch, scored for England.
You scored on your debut, didn't you, for them as well?
Yeah.
So that's first touch.
First touch. First touch.
Oh my God.
So it was like I said, everything I was doing was just turning to gold at this moment. And it was all because of the preparation. It was being pushed by Pardew, it was being pushed by Atkins, being pushed by Mauricio with his training regime. It was all the doctors, it was all the physios, it was the fitness coach, Nick Harvey. It was all these people who were there to help me, who helped me in the team, and me taking on everything that they were saying. I was absorbing everything. Yes. I wasn't batting anything away at this period. I was absorbing everything. So when England came, I was ready for it.
Yeah, it's like you've absorbed everything, mate, and you've had to go and take action. People can tell you stuff, mate, but you've actually went and done it.
Yeah.
You took what they've said on board and you went and done it, mate. Yeah. So, like...
And I noticed you said before about the nutritionist fella who helped you when you were in Southampton, getting the weight down, getting the fitness there. Yeah. You said what a role model he was.
Yeah.
Was it up until that point that you had like finally the role models that you needed in the football world? Up until that point, who were the role models? Like who did you kind of look up to and aspire to be like? Was you maybe pulled into being in that drinking circle because of who you looked up to?
Yeah.
I many times throughout my career, managers, other players, ex-players gave me the right advice. It just wasn't at the right time. Just wasn't at the right time. No, it just wasn't at the right time for me.
Yeah.
I just battered away. Whatever, I know more than you. That was my outlook in life. Not just about football, but about everything. What do you know? And it was Pardew. It was Pardew, 27 years old, where he kind of broke down that barrier, because it was Paul Trollope at Bristol was trying to introduce fitness regime and a nutritional diet. I just I
just weren't ready to take it in.
Wasn't ready. It was Pardew and something in. It was definitely the way he said it as well. It was an ultimatum, so I kind of made it easier. And that from that moment on, I just changed everything. My way of thinking.
So you've had the England call up, you scored on your debut, and then the phone sort of goes for you, and Liverpool come knocking.
Yeah.
So what is going on, mate?
Well, not even that, mate. Not even that. I get into the World Cup squad. Get into the World Cup squad. So I've gone from League Two to the Premier League to then England and then the World Cup team in 5 years. 5 years.
Yeah.
I think it was. And I was just like, this is incredible. It cannot get any better. A couple of weeks into the World Cup build up. Phone call, Liverpool's coming for you. I was like, you are messing. You're messing. You're like, no, they've come in for you. Do you want to know if you want to sign for them? So straight away I was overjoyed, but straight away I was thinking, bloody hell. I had no intention of leaving Southampton because how much I loved it there. But the one club I would move for would have been Liverpool. That's probably the only club. So I was like, this is incredible. Like I was like, it's mad the way life works, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's mad. It's mad.
Was a part of you maybe wanting that to happen now? Ever? Did you ever think it would happen? Was you wanting to go back there ever? Like,
no, I
back
didn't.
of your mind was ever there, or
no?
That had been put to bed years ago.
When I got let go, there was a few moments in the career where I thought I'll get back up. I'll get to the Premier League and I'll play for Liverpool. But when I was at Southampton, I don't know. I was just focused on Southampton and doing well for Southampton. And I just I didn't think Liverpool would have been interested in me. And even though I was doing so well and I was in the World Cup, I never really thought Liverpool would come in for me. So it was a complete shock.
And what was that like then, mate, in the sort of the bubble? The World Cup, because you just get taken away and it's sort of like no one gets near the camp, do they?
So it was mad. It was mad because it was we done a Portugal trip, like tour with the England, and we got 2 or 3 days at home, or 2 days, and then we were going to America to build up for Brazil. So it was at home I got told. So straight away, obviously negotiations just flew through. The medical had to get organised, so I had to sort that straight away. But I couldn't tell anyone, literally no one. And I knew if I told anyone in Liverpool, my friends, family, it would have just went boom. Yeah. And like the way everyone was talking to me is, if this gets out, it's not getting done. It's not getting done. It's got, like Nicola Cortez, Southampton was adamant. If it gets out, we have to do it our way. If it gets out in any way, we're not doing it. So I was like, I didn't even tell my friends. They still haven't forgiven me to this day. Still haven't forgiven me. They literally found out on the day and they were like, you messing? I was like, I couldn't. So yeah, I had to wait. It was about a week. So that was hard. A week without telling anyone. And then I went to the lads, keep an eye on Sky Sports today. And they were like, why? And then it came up, Liverpool interested in Ricky Lambert. And they were like, is this serious? I was like, yeah. It's not only serious, it's done. And you're like, wow. So then obviously being in England and then being a Liverpool player, it was like I said, crest of a wave. That's the only way I can explain it to someone, and you're just riding it. You was just riding it. It wasn't even, it was just, did I feel in control? No, I didn't feel in control. It was just, everything was happening so fast. But when the moments came where I was on the pitch, I felt in control, if that makes sense. But everything else, it was just getting bigger and bigger and bigger all the time.
At all this point, was you married at this point, or?
Yeah, I was with, so this was weird, funny as well. When I got called up for England, I was in hospital with Amy giving birth. She was giving birth to Bella, my baby girl. So she's 8. On the day that she got born, I went home because I was in the hospital all night and I had training. So I went home, went to bed, got up. My name was everywhere. I was in the England squad. So I was like, didn't even know the England squad's getting named, let alone I'm in it. So it was just moments like that. So yeah, I was married to Amy. I was obviously still together. Got 3 children. Yeah, it was just incredible. So it was incredible for her as well. But she was made up because she's a Scouser. She's from Kirkby. Yeah. She was from Rufwood. So she was made up because she could go back home.
Yeah, of course, mate, yeah. So you've gone back to Liverpool, mate. Obviously, how was that, like, when you've gone back? It's like, maybe, was it Melwood then, weren't it? Still Melwood, so you've gone back to Melwood. Obviously, Stevie G. All the players are there, mate. Obviously, people probably always asking about Stevie G and some of the players there, mate. But how was that, just being, like, in that environment with, like, some of these, like, elite players that you're actually playing with, because you've got yourself to that level yourself, you know what I mean?
I mean, because I'd probably been with England at this point a year or 6 months, and being around Stevie, I was okay. I was kind of used to these players then, but obviously when I first went to England, being around Stevie, I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. And then, like, Roy Hodgson goes, get in twos and start passing it. Stevie went, come on, I'll go over you. I was like, oh my God. Pay Stevie. It was incredible. But I was sad. I had to keep it all inside as if like it's happened to me every day of my life.
Yeah, it's normal.
I had to just keep it all inside. But I wanted to scream. So when I went to Liverpool, I was obviously I was used to keeping it all under control. Does that make sense? But again, I inside I just had a massive smile on my face. I'm so proud.
How do you look back then, at your time at Liverpool? Did you feel pressure there, like, as soon as you've gone in? Because, I mean, there's no disrespect to most clubs, mate, but when you're going into Liverpool, it is like, for me, you know, it's up there with the biggest clubs in the world.
Yeah.
There's got to be an element of pressure of like, and you are in the spotlight.
Yeah, I did feel pressure, but again, I felt ready for it.
Yeah.
I didn't quite understand how big Liverpool was. And it's hard to say this to a fellow Liverpoolians because I've been a Liverpool fan all my life and I thought I knew how big Liverpool was. It wasn't until I joined them and went to America and Asia that I realised how big Liverpool actually were. Even in this country, you don't really understand how big you are until you become a Liverpool player.
Yeah.
So I was blown away by that. Absolutely blown away, but I felt ready for it because I thought when I get on the pitch, I'm going to do exactly what I've been doing for the next 5 years, for the last 5 years. I'm just going to show people why I'm here. And Rodgers said, it's going to be you. Suarez is going, but it's going to be you, Sturridge. Sanchez is coming in. And we're looking at one more. So I was like, yeah, buzzing, absolutely buzzing, can't wait. Suarez went, Sanchez went to Man United, and the other player was Balotelli. So straight away I'm thinking, I can't wait to get going, but am I ahead of Balotelli or is he ahead of me? Straight away I could tell he was ahead of me. So I was fine. I'm going to prove Rodgers I'm better than him. When I did finally get my chance, I didn't do what had been happening to me the last 5 years, where I would score. I did score on me on one of the first games. I scored on my Champions League debut, so I started off well. But I think he gave me a run of 6 games, and I didn't do well enough.
Yeah.
Didn't do well enough in my own eyes. Didn't do well enough, let alone for Liverpool. And at a club like Liverpool, you don't get second chances. You don't. It's that big, that competitive. I knew I might not get another run of games because there's that many players at the club. And I didn't. I got games every now and again I didn't take them chances. Didn't score the goals. I got a few chances. Them 6 games I got chances. Normally bang, back of net. For Liverpool, they just didn't go in. Didn't go in. And that's the difference. And then my game kind of started to deteriorate because, like I said, I didn't hit the ground running. And then the pressure did start to get to me a little bit because I knew, it's not working out here the way it's been working out the last 5 years. So by this time, my professionalism was as good as it's ever been. I was in the best shape of my life. So it wasn't that side. I was 32, coming on 33. So I was feeling it a little bit in my legs. The end of the season before the Southampton season. I think Mauricio could tell because I didn't play that many games at the end. So I went to Liverpool and I played the World Cup, and then I had 4 weeks off. Brendan gave me 4 weeks off, but I went back after 2. That was a big regret I have because I should have took them 4 weeks to rest my body. I was 32, I wasn't 27 no more. So I went back after 2 weeks and I was training, I was wanting to be the fittest. I just didn't feel as fit as and strong as I normally did. So that was a factor, but at the end of the day, when I got the chance, I normally took it. I didn't take it at Liverpool.
Yeah.
That's the only
regret.
Yeah. It's not even a regret because I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. It's not as if
you give it your best.
Yeah, I gave it my best. I just wasn't good enough for that team at that time of my career. So it didn't work out. So when I look back, obviously I was devastated at the time. Devastated when I knew it wasn't in his plans. I just wanted to get out of the club. I wanted to get out. I didn't want to be a dead weight there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Get yourself out, go and play football somewhere else. I went to West Brom, didn't work out at West Brom. Went to Cardiff, didn't work, and then I retired. So the last 3 years of my career was very disappointing compared to what the previous 5 had been like.
And did you sort of know, Rick, when was it that you sort of thought, time's coming, like soon? Because that must be like the moment that you don't like to think about, but it comes with every player. Like,
so when I went to West Brom I knew was massively, because I knew I hadn't played at Liverpool for about 6 months. I'd hardly touched the ball. So as much fitness as I was doing, it's not the same as playing week in, week out, which I'd been used to all my career. So West Brom was massively important. I needed to make it at West Brom. And it was Tony Pulis. I went in again, couldn't quite do, didn't score, missed the header, hit the bar, hit the line, missed another chance. Straight away, the manager's questioning me. I'm getting questioned by the players. And I didn't quite work out again at West Brom. And then he brought in another player to replace me. So again, bang, gone. That chance is gone. So I'm like, fucking hell. So I thought I'd drop down to Championship. This was all under Paul Trollope, who was the Bristol Rovers manager. Because I was happy at West Brom, and I was a backup to Rondon. And I even though I was not happy that I wasn't playing, I loved West Brom. I loved the club, loved the players, the group of lads who they had in the team, loved it. So I thought I could stay here for another year in the Premier League. Wages were good. I could be a backup, but I thought, no, I don't. I think I've got 1 year, maybe 2 years left. I want to go and play football. I want to score some goals, and then I go, that's me done. So yeah, took a wage cut, went to Cardiff. And I was scoring, started scoring, playing. He was playing me every minute. I was getting fitter and fitter. And he got sacked after 6 weeks. Neil Warnock came in, and after a few games, he pulled me and said, "You're too old. You can't do what I want you to do. You're not going to play in this team." So I was like, "Oh my word!" And then mentally, I was gone. Mentally, I was like, "That's me done.
I'm done."
You knew you were done at that point.
Yeah, that's me done. I was like, just give me some contact. I'll be gone.
Yeah.
So as soon as I negotiated, like the contract with Warnock, and I kind of knew that was me done.
Yeah. Did you, from that point, you didn't want to play again? You weren't going to drop down the league,
football,
didn't you? You'd had enough.
Yeah, I got away from football completely. Yeah. Got away. I'd done my B licence, and Southampton was offered me some kind of role with the under 18s, under 16s. And I was very grateful, but I went, no, I need to get away from football.
Yeah, you just needed that time away, mate.
Yeah.
Did you feel like you needed that break just to completely switch off from it a little bit?
Yeah.
And how did that go, that break? Like, how because obviously saying goodbye to something that you've done for so long, this becomes a void sometimes, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And it's how did you then deal with that?
Yes, struggled. First 6 months, enjoyed it. Obviously, going away with the family. After 6 months, that like you said, the void. And the void was me. It wasn't training. I've never really missed training, the day-to-day life, but the build up to the Saturdays, like the game day, that's what I missed massively. So the drink came back massively, to be honest. And yeah, that was kind of my substitute for the feelings I got, and I would probably drink heavily, but the midweek drinking began and stuff like that. So for about a good few years after, like I was saying to you, it was only the last 6 months that I've kind of knocked the alcohol on the head. Me and the missus, and our life, my lifestyle anyway has just like gone up massively. My desire for football has come back. My aspirations now to get back into football, coaching, is massive, like almost to the same it was as me wanting to be a footballer. It's getting close to that desire that I had. So I'm setting in places now, the beginnings of my next career, which I can't wait to start off.
I'm glad you've mentioned that, mate, because it's so important in some of the work that we deliver in the city. It's obviously having a sense of belonging wherever you go and whatever you do. You know, as a person, you need a sense of belonging, but it's also having a purpose.
Yeah.
So when we're not living a life on purpose and we're living a life that we don't want to live and we're doing things we don't want to do, we end up losing our direction and losing our path in life.
Yeah.
And then you've obviously found that. Again, you've got a sense of purpose, you've got a sense of direction, you know where you're going.
Yeah.
I always have a saying sort of like, you know, the world makes way for a man who knows where he's going.
Yeah.
And it does. Things start to align. You knew what you were doing at Southampton. Things started to align and look at where you got to.
Yeah.
And you know, it's about reaching your potential as a man.
Yeah.
Essentially, mate, and that's exactly what you did. And I've no doubt that you'll do that again with your coaching, mate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just an incredible story, mate, that you've got. It's like massive, considering like for most of it you were drinking on weekends, and you've actually been able to get to that level. Is so rare for that to happen anyway without even drinking. It's so rare for it to happen, you know what I mean? But the fact that you've done that, mate, at such a late stage is just amazing, mate.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. Appreciate it.
So before we finish, mate, just let us know what's next, what we can expect coming next from you. And then we've got a couple of questions we want to ask. It's just like quick fire questions, you know what I mean? And then we'll wrap it up if that's okay.
That's fine.
I've got 2 questions for my lads. Obviously, he's at that age now. Scholar's coming up. So I said, we've got Ricky today, and he was like, right, what do you want to ask him? So he's giving me 2 questions. So I'll ask him.
That's fine.
So yeah, mate, so what's next? Like, what can we expect over the next year or so from you?
Yeah, so like you, the phrase that what you put there, I put it perfect. I understand them at the beginning. So I'm an apprentice again, and I couldn't be happier. I'm at a stage now of my life where I'm absorbing everything again instead of just thinking I've had this career. I know all this. I don't know nothing about coaching, and I understand that, and I am more than happy to start off at the bottom. So I'm trying to take on as much as I can now, and trying to get hours on the training pitch. So I do grassroots with Green Looms, under 15s. My boy Carter plays. So I've been doing that for a few years, but I do that a couple of times a week. But I'm hoping, like I said, to begin as a volunteer at Wrexham, helping out on the youth team. And then who knows where that goes.
Pick up the phone and ring Stevie, mate. So you get me in.
Who knows? I'm not in a rush. Not in a rush, honestly. I want to get I want to be prepared.
All the experience you can get.
I want to get as much experience in. I know how tough it is to get a job in the Football League, especially as a manager. I know that. So I'm not expecting anything. Not expecting anything now. And I don't even want anything now because I know I'm not ready. But in a few years, when I know I'm ready, I'm going to smash it. I'm hoping to be more successful in my coaching career than my football career.
And listening to your football career, you've got all the attributes to do that because you've absolutely done amazing with your football story. Like it's an unbelievable story. So
well, I'm hoping so. I'm undoubtedly the experiences from my football career will help me in coaching career.
Yeah, definitely.
But I understand now, and I didn't at first, that coaching is completely different to football. I'm learning to get the experiences that I've got in my head and the ideas of winning football games and improving plays. I'm improving how to get it across to a group of kids, group of lads, group of adults. And I'm really enjoying the process. Really
exciting stuff, mate. Really exciting.
Nice.
And what a man to deliver it though, from the journey that you've been on. You know, you've been through like the academy system, you've been released, you've gone through different leagues, you've got to England, you've been at the club that actually released you at the beginning. So what a man to actually be coached by.
Very relatable.
Knows, you're relatable. That's exactly the word, isn't it?
Very relatable, yeah. Awesome. Right, let's ask you some questions, mate.
Right.
No hot seat now, you know. So you probably get asked this one all the time. Who's the best player you've played with?
Best player I've played with, Coutinho.
Coutinho. Nice.
Yes, he was unbelievable. Adam Lallana and Coutinho. But I would say Coutinho pips it just because it's just the things he would do on a pitch I've never seen before. He could walk past you. He could take you on without moving the ball. He could send you for fish and chips, but just dipping his shoulders. And the ball would just carry on. He would just carry on. He was ridiculous in training. I didn't go anywhere near him. Go on, mate, you can just have it over there. He was ridiculous. So yeah, Coutinho.
Who's the hardest player you've played against?
Jagielka.
Yeah,
it's found a nightmare.
Yeah.
He was like a rash. Yeah. I never got the best of him. Whenever, like I said, I wasn't the best of players. There was better players than me, but whenever I knew there was someone better than me, my determination would then win the battle.
Yeah.
So I would make it into a battle, and my determination would. But Jagielka matched my determination as well.
Yeah.
And I was like, I just found it frustrating. I never scored against Everton as well. So, and he was the reason why. So being a Liverpoolian, obviously, that's
same gutted for you, but I'm a blue cell. That's on Jagielka.
Yeah.
Want to ask some questions?
So that was the question that Aidan was going to ask. Actually, who was the toughest opponent? He also wanted to ask what advice you would give to a young footballer.
Yeah, from what we were saying before, basically, is listen to your coaches, and don't underestimate the fitness side of things. Like talent is very important, but be as fit as you can be, not just for football, for your mental health, your physical conditioning, but most importantly for football as well. There's going to be kids out there who are nowhere near as good as you, but their fitness side and their dedication is probably going to, managers might pick that over you. So just make sure that your fitness side and your professionalism is as good as it can be.
Right. Hard work beats talent, doesn't it, Sam?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Best career moment?
I think anyone who knows me knows what that answer is. It's my header for England against Scotland. Yeah. I feel like the lead up, everything leading up just culminated in that moment of one touch header. It was a good header as well. It was a good connection, which I was very happy with. So yeah, that moment, yeah.
So this one, mate, is a pretty deep question.
All right, okay.
Okay, so I'll give you a bit of time to think about it.
Okay.
So what does it mean to you? Ask everyone this, by the way. What does it mean to you to be a man? That is deep.
I mean, the first thought what comes into my mind is to be a good husband and a good father.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's the most important thing in my life about being a man.
Yeah.
And probably the two major things I want to try and get right in my life, especially being a father to my three children.
Amazing answer, mate. You answered that well. Thank you so much for coming on, mate, because incredible story, inspirational story. And a lad who's just, normal lad from Kirkby and going on to achieve his dreams, mate. This is it's a men's and women's, it's a well-being podcast.
Yes.
That we focus a lot on mental health. We focus a lot on people that have come from average backgrounds, if you like, or tough backgrounds, and have gone on to achieve what they want to achieve. And it's given people information from the people who have went on to achieve their dreams of what they've actually went and done to do that. Yeah. So thank you so much for coming on, mate. Absolute pleasure. I know a little bit about what you're doing. I think it's brilliant. And you're definitely going to get me and the missus on. Yes, definitely. Brilliant. On one of the sessions. Yeah. Because, I've seen what he's doing. I think it's brilliant. Thank you so much. Good luck with that as well. Thank you so much, Ricky. And thank you for sharing your story. Like Paul just said, it's inspiring, not only to men, but, so many women are getting into sports now. And it's inspiring to everyone out there to listen, to actually work hard and actually keep believing in yourself. And you be the decider of where your career goes, because people will be told, no, you're not quite what we want, and there people will be like, yeah, okay, let's call it a day. Whereas you didn't, you kept going, and you got to where you wanted to go. So it's massive, massive admiration for what you've done. So well done. Thank you. Awesome. Thank you. Nice. We're gonna close it. Yeah. Any final words? No. I've forgot to mention organisation and charity that we're both involved with. Nobody Left Behind. Yeah. I think it's a unbelievable charity that helps vulnerable kids, mainly 16
go upwards who might be heading down the wrong route. I think they've got role models. I'm trying to be a role model in the football aspect. Use the body and mind.
Yeah.
We've got boxing with Danny Widow and other, and hopefully through our experiences that we can help these kids pick the right route or stay on the right route, and then we've got jobs available.
Get them jobs as well.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant, mate.
So there's a goal at the end of the path for them.
Yeah.
If they can stay on the path. So that's another organisation, charity that I'm a part of and very proud of. Yeah.
And we had the hardest day of our life in our
Hardest
things,
day, yeah.
but it's all good.
Yeah, one of the best but hardest days.
You're saying you hope you're a role model. Own it. You are a role model.
Yeah, a role
So
model, mate,
own your greatness, because there's a lot of
Definitely, mate.
greatness in you.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
Any closing words, Carly?
No, I think I'm
All good.
I'm
all
out.
talked out. Yeah, good. All right, let's call it a wrap then, mate. Thank you so much, Ricky.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Jacob.